Morning, Henry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Cool hat.
Oh, you got the bucket hat. I'm gonna get a bucket hat on. All right, I'll do that.
I know where you got
Nice.
that hat.
Were you in Thailand too, Henry?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, cool. Wish I could have made it.
So I do actually have an icebreaker that we could kick off with. Actually, I'm not too aware. Like globally, do they do Cyber Monday and like Black Friday deals and stuff? Is that just like an American thing?
I think it might be an American consumer tradition.
No, it's also in Europe. It's commerce, so they're doing it here too.
And okay. That's true. Yeah, I've seen videos of UK people storming malls in the UK. Yeah.
That's isn't that Boxing Day?
Oh yeah, that Boxing Day too.
Yeah, I know
That's
a
after
big
Christmas,
deal.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I think about Boxing Day is just watching a bunch of football games because
Yeah, funny thing about Boxing Day and football is that the scores are always heavy on Boxing Day. It's like they're actually fighting in real life.
that's so true.
Canada steals its holidays from the UK and America, so we have Cyber Monday and Boxing Day.
Ah,
All
So
the
yeah,
consumers.
might as well take it.
And you have Thanksgiving on a different day, don't you? Like you have Thanksgiving.
It's in mid-October typically because our growing season ends sooner because we're further north. So our Thanksgiving is about 6 weeks earlier than the US one.
Makes sense.
what's your icebreaker, Raffle?
I was just gonna ask if anybody, get anything, cool over the holidays, past Cyber Monday, Black Friday. I'll show off what I got in a sec. Fully get situated.
I don't think I got anything cool, but I did get acoustic panels that I had been eyeing for a while because the
Oh, that's
echo in
cool
my
to
living
me.
room is way too big. So hopefully that'll help.
That's super cool to me. Because I got music stuff too. So I'm gonna show off. Yeah, that's dope. Actually reminds me. I actually think I need some for my room. I haven't really tested out my mic yet, so yeah. We'll see.
There's a good deal on used books. I'm a book hoarder, so I've been eyeing these books for a while, and I made the jump.
That's what's up.
Nice. My dad's an artist, and I'm helping him with some 3D art stuff. So he has me 3D printing stuff. So I bought some wood 3D printing filament. So make things that look like wood.
Got the capital allocation. But yeah, this is what I got over the holidays. So Ableton Move. So it's basically kind of like a group box / MIDI controller. That's what's up. Yeah. So you can even plug what Henry just showed into this to use as like keys and stuff. And like for me, like I used to do like the first thing before I started coding, I was doing like music production. But then it's just hard to like really get into Ableton and like have all these different things to do. So that I'm already with this, I'm already like it's just a lot easier because it's only 4 tracks. And you just to start grooving. But yeah, who wants to go next? There's anything you got recently, it doesn't have to be Black Friday, so any cool gadget or
Yeah, I actually want to start running an Ethereum node. So I got a fully compatible machine with that. Yeah. So yeah, this is where I'll be running my node. So I'll be running Reds and I'll be running Emboss for both validator and execution client.
Go ahead, Julie.
I was just going to ask, what kind of specs do you need to run an Ethereum node?
Yeah, I'm running on 32 gig RAM and 4 terabyte of SSD.
Yeah, solid.
It's pretty modest. It's cool that you can run something.
Yeah, 32.8. Yeah. I'm actually not a validator, so I'm just running a node. So I'll be able to use PC for interaction.
Well, there's a chance we're trying to do some stuff with Obel, squad staking. So if you're looking to join a squad, and we potentially could have the ETH not donated, but sponsored and we just get the rewards, right? So yeah,
hopefully,
would love to.
hopefully Ethereum 3.0 has proposed lower the requirement for it to become a validator. I heard they proposed one ETH during DEFCON as part of their plan for Ethereum 3.0 to become a
Yeah.
validator.
That'd be nice.
Afo, you want to get started?
Yeah, let's get started.
Cool.
So Evan, I guess you have the slides you want to present.
Welcome to the Allo Yeeter workshop, everybody. We're excited to show off what we've been working on the last month. I think Afo will start with a brief introduction on behalf of Greenpill Dev Guild, and then we'll start moving into the presentation. And with a POAP link so people can join, claim it.
Cool. Do you have the presentations you need to share? You see?
Everybody see it all right?
Yeah, I see two pandas. Awesome pandas.
That's courtesy of Nansel, our marketing specialist.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the what is our fourth workshop of the year for the Greenpill Dev Guild. And one where we'll be like featuring actually featuring our own product. All the ones we've done before have been used about other tools like Karma Gap Hypersearch. So this is one that is an in-home built tool. So happy to have everybody here. A little bit of backstory on this RFP is that Owaki shared it in the dev channel and then encouraged us to apply for it as a dev guild. And then I remember when we were like looking at it during one of our dev guild calls, Evan hopped in like right as we started watching the loom that Owaki put together and was like, oh, this is really similar to what we've built, ourselves. So it's like, okay, with Give Arb. So okay, yeah, it's like, perfect project to collaborate on. So here we are to have this workshop to like, go over, demonstrate Allo Yeeter. And yeah, I'll pass it over to Evan to lead.
Yeah, thank you, Afo.
Yep.
Our project manager for Allo Yeeter.
Oh yeah, project. Thank you.
And capably guiding us through the process. So a little bit about how this will work. We went through the intro, talk a little bit about how this came to be and what exactly Yeeter is, followed by a walkthrough where we'll demonstrate the project courtesy of Julian, our tech lead, talk a little bit about what Yeeter could potentially be used for, share some ideas, and then we'll actually yeet out one ARB to anyone who wants to participate. One way you can participate, Afo, do you have the POAP link?
I have the POAP link. It's Yeet-pandas. So that's Yeet-pandas. I'll toss it in the chat.
All right.
It should be live to start claiming during this hour, so people can start claiming.
Perfect. So and we'll have some time at the end dedicated for people to claim that if you want. And how that'll work is if you claim this POAP NFT, your address will be whitelisted, and then at the very end we'll go through a live Yeet demonstration where we'll send everyone who claims this POAP, or Yeet everyone who claims this POAP, one ARB live. So, and then give some information about how to move forward. So like Afo said, it started with Kevin Owaki from Gitcoin, posted this vision of the deployment of Allo Protocol, a capital allocation mechanism developed by Gitcoin. And a way to use Allo Protocol, it's super fast, super easy, takes just a few minutes. Anyone can send out or allocate capital, send tokens, just a few seconds. And like Afo said, this video from Owaki was shared at one of the Greenpill Dev Guild meetings. I had joined because both Greenpill Dev Guild and my project, CFCE, had recently gotten the refi in ARB grant. And so we had talked about doing some kind of collaboration. So I joined the Greenpill Dev Guild meeting, like Afo said, right, when they were describing this Yeeter concept, and said, hey, that sounds like what we built, one of the things we built for the Arbitrum grant. So from there, we started working together, decided to collaborate. Afo was the project manager, Nansel, a graphic designer, marketing, Koi, and Matt kind of helped guide the process and share ideas and helped out with documentation. And Marcus, not Marcin, was a great asset in the UI design. On our team, Julian programmed a lot of the app. Lawal helped with the smart contract, and I sat in meetings and talked at everybody. So now we're going to do a quick walkthrough. Maybe we'll go through this kind of quickly so that you can see it live after this. But the basic gist of it, here's the home screen of the Yeeter. First step, after connecting the wallet, you have to make a profile. Just a quick note, when Julian does the walkthrough here in a second, you won't see these steps because he'll already have a profile. But it's just a one click connecting your MetaMask just like with any other dApp. The first step, you have to choose who to send the tokens to, who to Yeet to. So there's two ways to do this, either entering the Ethereum addresses manually or uploading a CSV file that has all the addresses in a list. You have to choose which token. Right now, we're only deployed on Arbitrum, but theoretically, this could be on any ERC20 fungible token. We talked about having CeLO, stable coins, various coins next, but it would be simple to deploy them on those networks. So it works with our Yeeter, but right now, just for this demo, we have Arbitrum. We'll be yeeting out one ARB to our participants. Next, you choose how much to yeet. And then going into the yeeting process itself, you deploy the contract, create the pool for Allo Protocol, and you yeet the funds. This is the actual sending out the tokens. After that, you can review the yeet, see what you yeeted, who you yeeted to, view the transactions on the Blockchain Explorer, and that is it. So I'm going to stop sharing and switch over to Julian if we want to see this done live. But first, let's stop, and if anyone has any questions, I or someone else from the team can answer them.
Just on the POAP, it's saying the mint window hasn't started yet. I'm getting that message.
I'm looking into it.
Okay. For now, why don't people post your wallet in the chat, and I will put those into the Yeeter, and we will do a live Yeet. And in the meantime, here is the Allo Yeeter, and anyone can access this. It's currently deployed on Sepolia and Arbitrum, so we're going to use Arbitrum today. I'm going to connect, and you can paste addresses, or you can also upload a CSV. Okay, I think I've got everyone there. So then next step, choose which network and token. I'm going to choose Arbitrum and send ARB. There it is. Okay, and choose ARB. And should I send the amount you sent me? I think it was 24 ARB. We'll distribute that.
Yeah, before actually sending it, is anybody else missing from this, or are we all set?
I think I've got everyone.
Oh no, you're missing a read AI, I think. Joking.
So basically, it just splits it up into however many participants you have in the Yeet. And when I'm signing this, what it's going to do is first going to ask me to approve the token transfer so that I can use it with the smart contract. And then deploying the Yeeter contract. This is what's called a strategy in the Allo protocol, and it's what actually determines the logic for the money flows and such. And then the next step is creating a pool. So this will create and fund a pool, which is like part of the Allo contract. And so it's funded. And then the last one is to actually allocate the funds, and then that's what distributes the funds to everyone. And so now we should see In a few moments, you should receive a couple Arbitrum.
Yep, I have some.
Yeah, I got 2.18. Right?
Awesome. Yeet successful.
Thank you, Awful.
Yeet.
Yeet, baby. That's a lie. That's the first real asset live. Was that the first real asset live Yeet? It might have been 1, 2, 4, but
It a couple test ones, but the first one that actually went to somebody other than me with my money. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Julian.
Yep.
Are there any technical questions or anything you'd like clarified from the Yeeter process? We have plans to expand this in the future, for example, making it into just a one-click process, but for right now, due to the different steps involved in the Allo protocol, we made it into that kind of split process that you saw. But due to the awesome dev and UI work, it's still pretty seamless, right? Went smooth. And I didn't time it. That was
I really appreciate how you keep everything in that one position.
right.
And just so it's very much smooth and great work, Julian. And also that's from that's Julian and Marcus for the designs.
Hey, Henry.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at the end screen, but does it show you like a TXID that you can like either copy or open in an Explorer? I think that might be interesting to look at.
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, there is a button here to open the transaction in an Explorer. There it is. Yeah, so here's the transaction. This is the Yeet. So it's a contract call to, this is the Allo proxy address. And there's all of the token transfers.
Can you show us the like logs or kind of walk us through what just happened?
Sure. This particular transaction is pretty straightforward. It just sends the believe it just sends a call to distribute, and it includes an array of the addresses to distribute to. And then what that's doing under the scenes is it's calling the Allo allocate function and also the transfer function, which then takes the pools that were previously allocated in the create pool step, and then splits those up and sends them out. Yeah. Any follow-up questions on that?
I do have some questions around this, kind of your thoughts, or just general thoughts for everyone to call around. I guess from my understanding, technically, it's just kind of two ways to go around, like kind of scaling out Allo Yeeter. It's either like per token, or like you could create a pool where people could like eat tokens, and it's like, perpetual, or it's like per like, user. So it's like kind of these pools being created ephemerally, and then people having to like, for different tokens or for whatever they need. I'm kind of curious, what are the thoughts there?
Yes, there's different implications to doing it different ways. This way is like the ephemeral, like it creates a pool and then it uses it, and then basically to create a new Yeet, it will create a new pool, a new instance of the contract. And the main reason for that, well, one, it's actually easier in a technical way to implement that versus you have to have like a lot more controls and capabilities with a pool to reuse it. There are also different fees associated with that. So when I created the pool, it had a certain nominal fee. And when you fund a pool, I believe that there's like a percentage-based fee. I'm not 100% sure if that's been implemented yet, but it means that if you make a large Yeet, then the fee could be very large. Whereas creating, for some reason, when funding while creating a pool, the fee is smaller.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, I can speak to the fee a little bit. It's structured to be able to support that, but it's generally not implemented today. Like there's no cut taken by the protocol for any of what we just saw. But there is like a process there. So in the future, that possibility exists for people that are making like cool boutique contracts and want to be able to monetize them. So like the fee switch is there, but it's generally not used today.
All right. If we don't have any more questions, we'll go into the next part of the presentation dedicated to talking about use cases. Anything else you guys are curious about or want to learn more about what you saw?
I'm ready for some use cases. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Well, I think Coy will take us through in some detail about one of these, but I just wanted to start off by saying that the use case that was mentioned in the original RFP or video by Owaki was if a project hosts a Twitter space, then just being able to reward people for participation, like just what you saw during the demo as people send their addresses somehow, those get put in, and hey, you just earned $1 by showing up and being on a Twitter space. But personally, since our project's dedicated to supporting nonprofits and foundations and mutual aid organizations, I'm really curious about how this can support organizations out in the world. You know, we always talk about onboarding the next billion people into Web3. I feel like tools like Yeeter, because they focus on simplicity, are a part of that toolkit that we can use to expand the utility of Web3. So, for example, if like I run a nonprofit, my day job, and we do trainings. Like I train people how to use Narcan to reverse overdoses. I always think it's kind of cool if you offer incentives to people, actions that you want them to perform. So if they show up for example, a volunteer training or do some action that you're trying to get people to do more of, and you say, hey, just drop me your address, and you just earned a couple tokens. This could be a monetary reward, you know, like dollar stable coins, but it could also be like if you make a partner with a local merchant, send everyone a sandwich token that they can redeem at their local sandwich shop or something like that. Another one would be like a learn to earn type of use case where I used to be a teacher. So like when I taught in Vietnam, sometimes if the students weren't feeling it, I'd have a bag of candy. And I said, all right, if you fill out this worksheet by the end of the class, everyone who finishes it gets a piece of candy. And boy, participation skyrockets. It's kind of a cheat code. You don't always want to do that. But I really see there's some potential here for learn to earn, you know, especially now that more education's moving online, saying, all right, everyone who finishes the extra credit project, you get a gold star token. I don't know about teachers paying their students dollars to finish, but you know, there's different models potentially in the education space. And then the final one I know a lot of Web3 projects incentivize participation by saying, all right, if you go through steps 1, 2, 3, finish this quest, or if you program this sample dApp, then we'll reward you. I see different blockchain foundations using this methodology to bring developers into their ecosystem, or projects saying, if you finish this, we'll send you an airdrop. I think the Yeeter, at the end of the quest, you know, said, enter your address in this form, and then you could easily say, if you finish it by July 5th, we'll send you out at the deadline some rewards for doing these tasks that we set out. So I really feel like Yeeter has some potential in onboarding people into ecosystems. Coy, you want to take over from here, and maybe we can explore some new use cases, or if there's interest, go in one of these in more detail?
Yes, definitely. Thanks a lot, Evan, for presenting for us. Thanks for all the team who made it, the development, and all the participants here. Basically, we are talking about a simple mechanism to allocate funds. So I think from this use case, we could already have a very smooth way to do it, like using POAPs. This is what we were thinking about to use. Maybe the POAP side, we got some unexpected issues, but this is a very straightforward process where you can just download the CSV file. Some people collected your POAP, and you can use on Twitter Space and community rewards, and also serve for workshops and class attendance payments. But I think we could just reflect about we want to make the process even more straightforward, like with just one transaction. But if we also think about the space between the transactions and how could we work and play, how could we play with the weights? I think this is very, very interesting use case. If you look to GrantStack, for example, we have a very good example of how could we fill this space between transactions. So thinking about the GrantStack in a more simplified way would be a good direction to explore. Another thing is when we talk about making easier to allocate funds, we are also talking about it's easier for people to play, right, with the system. So some further development on maybe some integration with Bitcoin Passport or any other kind of way we can have to prove humanity, for example. This could be a good feature too. I think for use cases, this is the best one we have now for what we have. It's already the POAP use case. This is very easy to do and could make already impact with what we have. There's anything else you want to add?
Not on my end, but I feel like now is a great time to bring in some ideas from the crowd. So I'm curious to hear from people in the audience. What ways would you use Yeeter? Who would you yeet to? What would you yeet for? What comes to your mind when you're thinking about ways to use this app? Oh no, I'm getting flashbacks to when I was a teacher. If no one answers, I'm going to start calling on people.
I was going to say it seems
it's not a use case specific.
It seems like a very simple airdrop almost. Like if you wanted to give some of your team or some like list of developers some tokens or something to start building in an ecosystem, or even like on testnet or something. If I'm running a hacker house and I want to make sure everyone there has enough Sepolia, simple way to just like send me your address and I'll make sure you get 3 Sepolia ETH so you can start building. It's just like a simple airdrop tool, which is kind of cool and very applicable to different circumstances.
Yeah, we've had to jump through some hoops to get Sepolia ETH. I think Julian even ended up buying some because we couldn't get the faucets to work. So this would be a great way to simplify the process for, you could even embed it in a hackathon or a live event, something like that.
Yeah, somebody mentioned if you can actually use it to pay for contribution, open source contribution, and yeah, that's another perfect use case. So open source contribution, developers submit their wallets, and on the day of payout, you just yeet to all of them at once. Like I like putting things under umbrella. Everything that can be used that has to do with mass distribution, Yeet can actually be used for that. Anything regardless, as long as it's mass distribution, you're not sending to just one person. Yeet can be used for that.
Right. It could be a great tool for marketing for blockchain projects that say if you fill out this KYC, you get on the whitelist, and on the appointed day, we're going to send out tokens to everyone on the list. Super easy, super fast.
The GitHub idea is really cool. I think you could like one interesting way you could take this is set up kind of deep links so that you can link directly to a Yeet that's pre-filled with all the addresses you want to send to. And then you could like commit that into a GitHub repo on the README, and then you just like press the button, and anyone who presses the button, it comes up and you can Yeet directly to everyone on the team.
Yeah, definitely.
So right now it doesn't support being GitHub repo. Is that correct?
Right. You just manually put in the addresses, either with a CSV or copy paste.
Right. So if you do have a list of addresses, and if it's in the CSV file format, you can upload them all at once. So you don't have to do this manual one by one that Julian did.
Okay, got it.
And with the help of LLMs, you can actually just tell people to submit their wallet address, copy everything, and ask the LLM to extract the addresses and compile it into a CSV. So that will make your work easier than copying and pasting to make sure everything fits on the CSV file.
So we get the addresses and then we upload the CSV.
Exactly.
How is it different from the link that I shared? Is it easier? Like I'm trying to understand for a use case that I'm working on right now.
But GIFs is more like some like streaming funds.
Okay.
Which is really cool. I like trips. So yeah, I think Yeet's a one-time action where it's dripping is like continuously streaming. So I think there's certain different use cases for like one-off Yeet. It's like kind of just like one-off thing, whereas like drips is more continuous.
And I think another point is that this is built on Allo Protocol. As I understand it, there's a couple other simple token distribution dApps, kind of similar to Yeeter, but this one's built on Allo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes, and one thing is also the chains. Drips, it is only on Ethereum, I think, and I think 2 networks, Filecoin, and we will also will be working with other chains.
Yeah, I think you still had his hand raised.
Yeah, I want to ask, is it always divided evenly between all addresses, or we can change it?
I said that first part again.
Is it always equally divided between all the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Julie, I think that it could be custom. It's just I'm not sure.
It's something we could add in a future version, but right now it's just evenly divided.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, basically this will be what I was mentioning, playing with the weights. For now, we just have the equally distribution, but if we discover a path to follow, like for the further development, we will work on a use case we can work on a use case to play with these weights, different ways to feel this.
I think one of the really cool things is that for new users, I think there's also another side to Yeeter. I think that especially for onboarding people, that can help make it easier. That I want to mention later. But I think on the Allo side of things, the really cool thing is that like it is abstract in the way Allo. So like, but the back end is giving whoever is doing that Yeet that kind of flexibility to have like a, you know, a project. Well, I actually am curious about that. Like, is there a project profile behind this? Like, what does this look like on the Allo side for like, if you were to go to the, I don't know if it's the round manager where you can see all like the Allo things there, and like, does that have any, you know, where does this show up given that we're using the Allo protocol in different interfaces?
Yeah, the main part that shows up is just with your own profile. So you do have to have a Allo profile in order to do a Yeet. That's also something that could be more deeply integrated, you know, like with some kind of low-level KYC, you know that people are who they say they are. We don't have that in there now, but like we could, you know, through the Allo protocol, verify people's addresses and things like that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'll go for Seda.
Yeah, the use case that I'm looking for is basically if we want to fund the dependency. So we are figuring out, like, we're putting together a graph for Ethereum clients dependencies, and then we want to fund them. So that's what I'm looking for. Like, how do we get them to register their wallets and all of that? So it seems like Drips is what we can use. So I was just wondering if Allo Yeeter is something that we can use for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now, like, it's just straight Ethereum addresses, and the recipients don't need to have registered with Allo. For most other Allo tools, it is expected that the recipients, it's expected but not required that the recipients would also have their own profile. So I think what would be cool as like a next step, I guess, for who you can send to and integrations there. I think ENS support would be cool, and like being able to pull registry data, so you can actually search a project like that is already in Grant Stack or something. You can search the name of a project and Yeet to them that way. Like, you don't even have to know their address or look up their address because all the data is in the Allo registry already. And I think that'd be cool. And then, yeah, like that leads to a whole rabbit hole of like, then you can have matching Yeets or something. Like, yeah, it's cool. And like, with a bit more like the pieces are there, and with just a bit more like integration or dev effort,
Yeah,
it's totally doable.
Yeah, I think and that's what I think is what's great about this workshop, because there's like a few paths that, you know, could like kind of be worked on first, and I think this will help kind of identify what is the most ideal. And I think another side I want to mention is around the user side, because Evan mentioned around, like, you know, for voluntary reward programs and people doing things like that. But I will say right now, like, Allo Yeeter is very much built for the Yeeter, not for the recipients, you know, as much yet. To where like they might not have wallets, so how are they actually, you know, what are their addresses? Like, we all have addresses here because we're all in the Web3, but people that we'll be eating to might not have addresses. So wondering if we could also create like an interface on the other side that's very simple too, and just enable somebody to get a wallet, get an address if they get Yeeted funds, and then be able to like off-ramp them in, like, you know, some manner. So yeah, that's another side I'm curious about with the Yeeter. Go ahead, Rice. Are you muted?
Hi, thanks for the demo. It looks really good. And I guess the primary use case is in terms of grants. If a grant gets awarded and there's a team behind it, this could be the easiest way to split it. But I'm wondering, there's now a small code base for Yeeter, and who is going to maintain that? As Allo evolves over time, then Yeeter will have to evolve with it, right? Is that something worked out at this point, or is that still up in the air?
I'm not sure who that question directed towards here.
Yeah, who's going to maintain the code in the future, like 6 months,
Yeah.
a year from now?
I think that's the point, Efo. Yeah, well, I mean, this was collaboration between, you know, 3 different organizations. So I would guess that it would have a large part of that answer would depend on how it gets used out in the wild. That would be my thoughts. And if it is something that's used and that seems like it's valuable for the Gitcoin ecosystem, I'm sure it will continue to evolve, probably with everyone that worked on it here in the first place.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear Henry's thoughts because I think, you know, the Gitcoin side are integral too.
Yeah, I don't totally want to speak out of turn. I don't know what like Kevin's expectations are there. But in general, like the barrier is so low because everything's open source. Like I know where the GitHub repo is for the Yeeter. So from Gitcoin side, if we ever like wanted to see something done, it's already, the gate is open to like open the PR. So we're not, from our side anyway, we're not too stressed of like what repo does it live in, who has like commit authority, like stuff like that. So I think there's like enough collaboration between our orgs, and yeah, just that culture of if you want something done, you can go in and do it, and don't need to ask for permission. Then I think it's a fair question, one that probably we would want to iron out. Like, what is the balance and expectation between the Allo team and the Greenpill team of long-term support? But I think it's also, there's a reason why I think the question's kind of been put off, because it doesn't matter that much. Definitely not as much as like a traditional Web2, where like it's a pretty, I don't know, there's a hard line between who made it, and then as soon as they ship it, they like throw their hands up and I'm done. You're on your own to support it. I don't think that's the culture here, and that's part of why I love this space.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because it's often the case, even in open source situations, that people develop a component and they donate it, but then they don't want the responsibility for maintaining it as things evolve. So that's what I was wondering. But it makes sense to first see what the uptake is and then figure it out based on that.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Sejal, I saw that you had your hand up.
I wanted to understand for the questions that I asked, like I'm figuring out the dependencies part. I think I got my answer. It seems like it's better we go with drip because it's a bit of a manual process right now, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think for use case, yeah, I think Drips is establishment. It's a mature project. This is
No,
like,
yeah, because I'm also under a deadline, so I'm not sure if I have like, unless it is something that we can. But yeah, I'll also connect with Henry. I need to better understand. Sorry, I'm very new to Allo Yeeter. I've not been on this project, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening. But I think I kind of got a sense. But I'll connect with Henry and then probably share with you guys what I'm working on, and then we can see if we can use that to test this.
Yeah, especially because it's our real needs, right? And this is the best way to design, I think.
I see a timer, so I'm scared.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't know the timer would start automatically. Well, we did create that concludes our program for today. We did create a survey. The original plan was to pay people with the Yeet if you took the survey, but we already completed the test Yeet. So unfortunately, this survey is unpaid. But if you look in the chat, I did just link a Google form survey if you want to give feedback and share ideas about what features you're most excited to see, what use cases you're interested in, and what you thought of the program today. So with that, I think unless anyone else from our team has anything else to add, that concludes our program. Matt, hey Matt.
Hey, I just have a quick question. Would you be able to Yeet a series of NFTs specifically with like base paint? I know Owaki did that there's a base paint campaign that I guess he didn't Yeet it, but he theoretically Yeeted it to a bunch of people. So I'm curious if this tool would be, you'd be able to do that now, or if it would be a feature that would be
I
in the works
believe
at
you
some
can
point in the future.
I think only fungible ERC20 tokens can be yeeted, but yeeting NFTs would be awesome. One thing that I can take away from this conversation in the group is that this is just the beginning. This general idea and modality just has so many different ways it can go. Afo, I loved your idea about coming up with an easy way for people who aren't Web3 native to both make a wallet and potentially link with off ramps. Henry, Julian, you had ideas. Sejal, it's so rich that as soon as you bring up the idea, people get it and they go, oh, we should build this. And that was what all of our team meetings were like too, right? But this is just the beginning, and it's really up to us where it goes next.
And Sejal, I think you joined a little bit later. There's a POAP to claim. So if you have the app, It's this secret phase, which is Yeet dash pandas. I'll send it in the chat. It's Yeet dash pandas.
Shout out to Nansel for making the pandas for our.
Oh yeah,
our
and the
marketing.
gift too. This is our first pull-up gift, which is really cool. So thanks, Nansel. I think this is the start of many.
And I'll put the link for the docs. Hey, Nansel.
Just a last note in regards to the team. I mean, it was really amazing working on this one. Lots of experience. I actually learned so much through this one. I'm just happy for all the commitment and everything everyone did on the team. Just looking forward to see how definitely iterate and just kind of explore all the use cases for Allo Yeeter. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was fun working together. It was cool to work with Greenpill Dev Guild.
I can testify to the one that I actually enjoyed working through this. In fact, diving deep into Allo smart contracts code base. Yeah, I learned a couple of things from the code base, and so amazing. And the code base is robust. I give kudos to the Allo Protocol developers. They did a nice job. And another thing I don't know, I should have run this by a 4 before today. It skipped my mind. Is that I don't know whether Allo is actually planning to deploy on StackNet. I figured that one-click transaction for the Yeet could be done on StackNet, like seamlessly. Every call batched into a multi-call and then sent in one particular transaction instead of the multiple button click, just one click for everything.
Yeah, Henry, if Gitcoin or Allo wants to work with StarkNet, reach out to Lawal. He's the StarkNet master.
Yeah, that's good to know. It's technically possible. Yeah, like anything with EVM support, we can be added to. So might have to follow up on that. Cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
Lawal kept saying. I'm sorry, Koi.
No, that's okay. It's another topic. Please go ahead, Evan.
StarkNet, working on StarkNet, they have account abstraction makes a lot of things simpler to do. For example, combining multiple transactions or doing the one-click Yeet. So Lawal, since he's a StarkNet partisan, kept saying, "Man, this would be easy, to make it all happen in one click." For example, so I couldn't recommend it more. But Koi, what were you saying? And I just want to point out that we're just about at 1 hour. So if anyone has to hop off, thank you for joining. I think we'll stick around for a couple minutes.
Yes, good points, Evan. Sorry for extending, everyone. I just want to bring a comment I think was made by Sophia and Delta Juliet shared on the RFP proposal about hypercerts, and maybe I don't know if someone already explored that, but this would be something interesting to discuss too, like the payments with the hypercerts, and this integration could be something very interesting.
So many different ways for Yeeter to get used.
Yeah, definitely. We got a big list to compile, and it's gonna be fun. Then we could even put like a poll out to, see what people are vibing with.
Yeah, if you look in the docs Google Forms, give us some ideas for what you want to see most. Speak now or forever hold your peace. If there's no more comments, I guess we can close. Thank you so much for joining. This was really cool.
Thanks, cool. All right, gonna formally end the recording, and if everybody wants to stick around and chit chat, great closing, Evan. Let's see. All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right, catch you later. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good call.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.